A function named for this mathematician and symbolized by a Greek letter generalizes a simpler function that sums reciprocals of squares from 1 to a given positive integer. A conjecture named for him states that all roots of the former function occur at negative even integers or at arguments with real part 1/2, this mathematician's namesake hypothesis. This mathematician also lends his name to a branch of geometry and to a type of surface used to visualize functions of complex variables. For 10 points, name this mathematician with a namesake integral, sum, and sphere. And the answer is George Friedrich Bernhard Riemann. In the unit circle, the chord of an angle can be found by multiplying this constant by the sine of half of that angle. The Euler characteristic of the connected sum of two surfaces can be found by subtracting this constant from the sum of the Euler characteristics of each surface, since the connected sum removes this number of faces. For any polyhedron, this number is equal to the number of vertices minus edges plus faces. This sixth decimal digit of pi is also the ones digit of the constant which is the base of the natural logarithm, Euler's number e. For 10 points, name this smallest number of points in Euclidean space needed to determine a line which is also the smallest prime number. And the answer is 2. This mathematician wrote the textbook Cours d'Analyse, which marked one of the first steps in the evolution of calculus since the mid-18th century. He almost single-handedly pioneered complex function theory, and he lends his name to a residue theorem and an integral formula. Sequences named for this mathematician satisfy the property that the differences between adjacent terms approach zero as n approaches infinity, and sequences of real numbers converge if and only if they satisfy that property. For 10 points, name this French mathematician who shares the name of a famous inequality with Hermann Schwarz and the name of a pair of differential equations with Bernhard Riemann. And the answer is Augustin-Louis Cauchy. This thinker's stationary points theorem states that if a function has a local extremum at some point and is differentiable there, then the function's derivative at that point must be 0. This man proved that an integer raised to the power of a prime is congruent to itself, modulo the prime, in his little theorem. The combination of Ribet's theorem and the Taniyama-Shimura conjecture allowed the discovery of the proof of his most famous theorem by Andrew Wiles. For 10 points, name this 17th century French mathematician who claimed that a proof of his last theorem was too large to fit in the margin of his book. And the answer is Pierre de Fermat. This number is the upper bound for the absolute value of iterates in the Mandelbrot set. For a finite set, the cardinality of its power set is equal to this number raised to the power of the cardinality of the original set. This is the Euler characteristic for the convex polyhedra, meaning the number of vertices minus the number of edges plus the number of faces is equal to this number. Mersenne primes are one less than a power of this number. This is the degree of a polynomial that can be solved with the quadratic equation. For 10 points, name this number the base of the binary system. And the answer is 2. These numbers correspond to the first degree case of Faulhaber's formula. The square of the nth one of these numbers can be expressed as sum of cubes from 1 to n. According to Gauss, every positive integer is expressible as a sum of at most 3 of this type of number. An order n minus 1 number of this type gives the total number of handshakes for any room containing n people. The sum of the first n of these numbers can be expressed as quantity n squared plus n all divided by 2. The nth of these numbers is equal to the sum of the first n natural numbers. The sum of two consecutive ones of these numbers is a square number. For 10 points, name this set of numbers which can be represented in a namesake three-sided shape. And the answer is triangular numbers. The eighth superior highly this type of number was considered by Plato to be the ideal number of citizens in a community. Complementary to Bertrand's postulate, Ramanujan proved that if a number n is highly this type of number, there exists another such number between n and 2n. In the Miller-Rabin test, a witness yields a negative result by providing evidence for a number has this property. All factorials except for 1 and 2 are this kind of number, and the sieve of Eratosthenes removes these numbers. For 10 points, name this type of number which has more than two factors and is therefore not prime. And the answer is composite number. This quantity solves Steiner's problem, which asks for the value of x that maximizes x to the power of 1 over x. This quantity appears in the denominator of Stirling's formula for the asymptotics of the factorial function. It can be defined as the sum from 0 to infinity of 1 over n factorial, or by the limit of 1 plus 1 over n, all to the nth power as n approaches infinity. That definition arose from Jacob Bernoulli's studies in compound interest. This value, when raised to the power of I times pi, equals -1. For 10 points, name this transcendental number equal to about 2.718 that is the base of the natural log. And the answer is E, or Euler's number. The simplex algorithm is a common method of solving optimization problems of this type. A set of points with this relationship will have a Pearson's correlation coefficient R equal to plus or minus 1. Cramer's rule will directly solve a system of these equations, which are polynomials of degree 1. For 10 points, give this adjective that describes the shape of graphs like y equals 2x plus 1 that have a straight, constant slope. And the answer is linear. This man introduced dot notation to indicate derivatives, which are used in a method named for him to recursively find roots of a function. He generalized the binomial theorem to all real exponents. Simultaneously with Gottfried Leibniz, he invented calculus, whose principles are outlined in his Principia Mathematica. For 10 points, name this English mathematician whose mathematical insights led him to develop his 3 laws of motion. And the answer is Sir Isaac Newton.